Super Bowl weekend, and we got a lot to talk about. Hank Goldberg is in Las Vegas this week. That's unusual. Welcome, Hank. I hope you're enjoying the fine weather we have.
I am enjoying the fine weather. I'm not enjoying the hotel, but that's another story.
Well, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get with hotels. So, in any case, we're here. I know you have a lot of things going on. You're meeting a lot of people, doing a lot of shows, and that's as it should be. What do you want to talk about with this game? There's so much to go over.
Well, the number seems to be saying it's at 4 points. That surprises me.
Which way do you think it should move, or you expect it to move?
I think it should go up.
Well, I did some checking yesterday, and it looks like 60%, that's 6 out of every 10 bets, are being written on Philadelphia. But here's the surprising number. 80% of the money has come in on Philadelphia. 80%. So, I mean, that's a remarkable number. You know, when you go back over the Super Bowls that New England has played in, not one of them, until you count the overtime game last year, not one of them has ended up beyond 4 points. They've all been, the final score has all been 4 points or less, until last year when it was actually tied in regulation, and of course they won by 6 in overtime. But that doesn't really count to regulation. It was always been under 4 points. So I can see why people may be looking at that. And also Philadelphia just outmanned Minnesota last week or 2 weeks ago, and everybody thought that Minnesota had the best defense in football, and they just manhandled them. So when you put all those things together, you're seeing a lot of money for Philadelphia, and you have the New England haters, but 4 weeks ago when they had the lines up on potential matchups. The line on this game was to be 6.5 or 7. But because Foles has played so well the last 2 games, and they played a very tough opponent in Minnesota and handled them, there's a lot of money coming in on the dog.
Well, people go with what they saw last. And, of course, if Foles wasn't playing quarterback, I guess this team would be favored by 3 or 4 points.
Well, I don't know that you make anybody favored over New England, but you probably would have moved 3 or 4 points.
The game would be at least pick 'em.
At least pick 'em for sure. Yes. But it's good. It should be a lot of fun, and there's a lot of propositions out there. I like some of them. I bet Amendola over receptions and yards. I also like all the running backs because I feel Philadelphia's offensive line is going to put a lot of pressure on Brady, and he's going to get rid of the ball quickly, which means he's going to get rid of the ball to his backs. And they're very good at that anyway.
That means Dion Lewis is going to have a big game because that's the guy he likes to throw the ball to.
I agree with that too. I think Dion Lewis is going to get a lot of catches. White, that they're going to spread it around. So you might see those backs all get 50, 60 yards in reception yardage. And Amendola has been a key out to him, so would not be surprised because Amendola can play deep or shallow, and he's a great target, and he holds onto the ball pretty well.
Amendola, and of course, Gronk got clearance, and he's between Amendola and Gronk. They're the 2 prime receivers. If they double team Gronk, though, Brady can get the ball to him, whether he's double teamed or not. He's going to get his catches.
It's going to be, I love the matchup. The matchup is great, and there's a lot of romance in the fairy tale travels of Nick Foles and how he was in this city years ago and set records in that 1 year under Chip Kelly, and then had a pretty rough time of it as he traveled the league and didn't do too well. Now he's back, and he's in this position. It's it's one of those Cinderella stories, sort of, and I think a lot of people like that. And that's what they're looking at. Honestly, I don't feel that the line should be any different than it is. I think 4.5 is a reasonable number. I could hear arguments at 3.5. I could not hear an argument of making New England anything higher than 4.5. 5 is kind of a dead number, but I don't understand the arguments that they should be 6 or 7. I just don't see it.
No, I don't think they should be that either. Hold on a second, can you?
Sure.
I got to see who this is. Hello.
Okay. We're back. I just hit the pause button. We get interruptions like this. It's normal.
Okay.
That should be it. The total is getting some money, Hank. I see there's 149 out there this morning. I see a lot of 48.5s. There are some 48s, but they're disappearing. So it looks like the money is going on the over. Now, here's an interesting one. I don't know if everybody knows this, but New England has played in 7 other Super Bowls, and they have yet to score a touchdown in the first quarter, and which is a remarkable situation. They've done very well in the second half, coming back from deficits. Last year, of course, against Atlanta. The previous time against Seattle, they were down, I think, 10 points in the fourth quarter in that game.
Hold on a second, Jim. I'm sorry. Wait 1 second.
All right, Hank.
I know that. You know that stat is pretty well known by now. They've been talking about it on all the shows about how New England has not scored in the first quarter of any of the games that they played in, not any of the games.
Well, that's true. They have gotten off to slow starts, and they've given the last 2 games. They gave Seattle a pretty good lead, and Atlanta a pretty good lead, and they came back. In both cases, I'm going to be honest with you. In both cases, I thought that Seattle lost the game more than New England won it, and I thought Atlanta lost the game more than New England won it. It's when you open the door to a guy like Brady and the kind of weapons that he has, you just leave yourself wide open for disaster, and that's what both of those teams did. And I was shocked by the way that both those head coaches for Seattle and Atlanta played it. I think they're running up against some people today or this week that are going to be very aware of when you put your foot down on the pedal, you better keep it on the pedal, because this team can come and get you. Which is one of the reasons I like. Which is one of the reasons I like the over in the game. I don't think you're going to see these teams slow down in any way once they get the lead, whoever it is.
Well, both teams have real good kickers, and they can score in the red zone. So, but if they need to kick from far out, they'll go for field goals too. So they can. The one thing that worries me about New England in this game is that Philadelphia is the best team in the league at time of possession, and because they have the good running game and they have some real good receivers. Hurst is a great receiver, and they've got Roseman's done a great job of putting this team together. They've got guys who have come from all over, and they've mixed very well. And they've got 2 good coaches. Reich is a great offensive coordinator. Schwartz is a good defensive coordinator. So it's a real good matchup, and it figures to be a close game.
That's the way I look at it too. I like based on what we've talked about and what I've studied, I do like the second half to be higher scoring than the first half. Of course, that includes if there's a potential overtime as well. But based on what I've seen, I think you're going to get a little bit of a slower start because of the nerves, and the second half is going to pick it up, and more points will be scored in the second half. Hank, we also will be posting basketball plays all weekend, and of course, after this game is over on Sunday, it's all basketball, pro and college, until we get to the baseball season. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the game. I'm looking forward to cashing some tickets. and picking up a bunch of money on Monday or Tuesday after we have some winners.
Well, so Al Michaels will be saying at some point, this game is really over now. and there's some interesting college basketball games this weekend. Some mismatches too. I'll tell you, Butler is playing very well right now. Another team that we don't talk about very much. Other than that, Marquette's got a pretty good matchup with Providence. That'll be a good game to watch and to bet on. Purdue is on a roll. They just keep winning. I saw Tom Crean say that he thinks Purdue might be the best team in the country. He's doing analysis for ESPN now. So Texas-Oklahoma is a pretty interesting matchup. And Texas is playing pretty good ball again right now after losing one of their guys. They seem to mesh well now. So that's a pretty good game to watch on Saturday.
Well, last night there was a game, Creighton and Villanova, and Villanova just keeps rolling. This team is well coached, well put together. They got all the pieces there. This is a very dangerous club. There are others. One team in Philadelphia, which is an old. I went to school there. Temple beat Wichita last night, which was a big win for them. Home underdog, 7.5 points. That was a big win for my old school, and kind of proud of them to be turning it on now. And Tulsa upset SMU last night, which was another big win. There's a lot of good teams out there this year. I'm looking for some good mid-majors to make a run in the big dance and in the smaller tournaments as well. So this is going to be really, the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks of hoops is going to be absolutely monster. And then when the NBA starts playing for real, there's some pretty darn good athletes in the NBA. Maybe they coast and don't play all the time, but in the playoffs they will be playing very hard, and it's going to be really great. And of course, baseball season is going to crank up. We got some new coaches. We got players moving all over the place. We got Derek Jeter trying to sell everything he can in Florida, and we'll see how that turns out. He's turning out to be a bigger loser as an owner than he was as a player, which he's an absolutely amazing player. But it's going to be fun, Hank. I'm looking forward to it. Good luck this weekend, and stay in touch. Let me know what you're doing.
By the way, I gave out Tulsa yesterday, so I was happy about that one.
Yeah.
Frank Case does a good job there.
He sure does.
Okay, all the best this weekend.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Hank.